Hello, my name is Marleen Westerveld. I'm the chair of the Child Language Committee of the International Association for Communication Sciences and Disorders. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Global TALES project. And TALES stands for Talking About Lived Experiences in Stories. The overall aim of our project was to investigate methods for eliciting and analyzing children's personal event narratives, with the ultimate aim of developing tools and approaches to support interventions for this important skill in children with significant challenges in their learning, including those with language disorders. We wanted to come up with a protocol that would be useful for clinicians around the world. So why personal narratives? As you know, personal narratives are descriptions of past events experienced by the speaker. They develop from a very early age, and children as young as 2 and 2.5 may be able to put together a couple of past personal event sentences, usually helped by their parents or caregivers. Interestingly, the majority of conversations of children ages 5 to 11 actually involve personal narratives. You probably know that personal narratives are important for classroom participation, talking about the things you did over the weekend or writing stories about things you've done or things you've experienced. Also, personal narrative competence is critical for social emotional well-being and identity development. Why is that? As you can see here, there's a critical relationship. Sharing stories builds friendships and helps develop a sense of identity and community. So let's consider some of the cultural influences on personal narratives if we want to come up with a global protocol. So what we know is that personal narratives reflect the cultural style of someone's community. So they reflect the type of stories you've been exposed to. What we also know is that the quality of reminiscing experiences, so that's talking about things that happened in the past, during childhood, is related to the development of personal narratives. However, there are differences in personal narrative structure between cultures. For example, some cultures may come up with a topic-associated personal narrative. So talk about all these different people who went to the dentist when asked to talk about an event or a personal experience at the dentist. Whereas other cultures might produce really topic-centered personal narratives where they talk about one specific event of going to the dentist that they experienced themselves. And then the language itself may relate to the structure of the personal narratives, either at local, so that's at word or sentence level, or global at that structural level. So what are the things to consider when we want to create a standard protocol? So first of all, what we decided was to use verbal prompts only and no pictures, because the pictures themselves could actually be different between different cultures. We asked all children to tell a story, so we didn't give them an example story because we didn't want to give them a model that might actually reflect the type of stories that we tell in our own cultures. We tried to come up with topics that may appeal or be recognizable to children across the globe, so things like feelings or mental states or emotions. When eliciting the personal narratives, we made sure to use neutral sub-prompts, so things like tell me more or oh, what happened then? We provided the children with 6 topics, and I'll show you the topics on the next slide. And we used a standard protocol, so we tried to keep it as similar as equivalent as possible, but we translated it, of course, into different languages. So the 6 prompts, as you can see on this slide, were about tell me a story about a time where you felt excited or really happy, a time where you felt worried or confused, a time when you were really annoyed or angry, a time when you had a problem and you had to fix it, And the last one is tell me a story about something that has happened to you that was very important to you. So what we've done is we've come up with a Global Tales demo video, and of course this is in English. And if you follow this link, you can watch that video if you're interested in it. So what progress have we made to date? So far, we've collected personal narratives using the Global Tales protocol from New Zealand, Australia, Cyprus, Israel, Greece, Russia, the US, Taiwan and the UK. And we've got data collections planned or underway for Ireland, Iceland, Croatia, Canada, Sweden and South Africa. So it's very exciting. The next steps, we've got some very clear questions we want to try and answer when piloting this protocol. So we want to know, is it effective in eliciting personal narratives of sufficient quality for analysis? And we've started with 10-year-old children from multiple nations and cultures. And then we'll look at the children's responses to the 6 different prompts across the countries. And we'll look at the themes that kids have come up with. What do they talk about when we give them the prompts? Do they talk about school, personal relationships, peer relationships, or perhaps family? We don't want to look at some macro and microstructure performance measures, like what is the mean length of utterance? How much do the children actually talk? How many different words do they use? To get a sense of what's happening in different countries, not to compare countries, mind you. And then finally, we really want to know from different researchers and clinicians who've been involved in the project to date, what are the barriers and enablers to translating and using the protocol across different languages and cultures? So if you want some more information, the project is actually listed on the Open Science Framework, and the protocol itself has been registered, but you can freely use that for clinical purposes. And you will find some of the links on this final slide. And then I really need to acknowledge all the original IELTS Child Language Committee members who helped develop the protocol and who, currently are assisting with analyzing the data. And hopefully we'll be able to provide you with an update soon. Thank you very much.